Alright, yo, this is principle 3 of the standard, and I'm gonna name this Prioritizing Psychology. Why psychology matters a lot. And this is gonna be like a quick debrief video on what you're kind of getting into in terms of like your mental game. And just to start, like the fact I'm making a whole video before we get into any psychology videos, that should tell you already that this shit is important, bro. If I'm making a whole video before this shit, I didn't do this for training videos. If I'm doing it for before the psychology videos, the emotional videos, that should already tell you that this shit is important, bro. And it is. Psychology, in terms of you becoming a consistently profitable trader, it kind of makes up for 80% of it. The other 20% is probably your technical analysis, your charting, marking up setups. That's 20%. That's, minor. Your strategy. But 80% is what's in here, because it's the foundation. No system works without solid psychology. Because at the end of the day, I plan to give you my strategy, but if what's in here is not built, if it's not reinforced, the system I give you is not going to work, bro. And you can have trader A, you can have trader B, both same strategy, same everything. But you can have trader A, sorry I said this is A, being way consistently profitable, and trader B can be losing money consistently. You can be broke. And at the end of the day, that all comes down to your psychology. You can have two people following the same strategy, but only one comes out on top. And that falls down to what's in here. I can give you my strategy, but I can't give you my discipline. You've got to build that yourself. And that's what I plan to do by the end of this series, the end of the standard. I aim to build you slowly so that we tick every box on what it takes to have strong psychology, so that when it does get to the stage of when you're using the strategy, taking trades yourself, you're not making silly mistakes. Kind of why psychology matters more than strategy is because trading is just heavily decision making under pressure. You're under a lot of pressure. And think about it, not even in terms of trading. When you're under a lot of pressure, you tend to do shit that you regret. And then after, you're like, why the hell did I do that? You tend to make mistakes. And it's the same with trading. When you're looking for a setup, but you're under a lot of pressure, you tend to do stuff you're not supposed to do. Although in the back of your mind you know what to do, that pressure kind of squeezes out shit that you're not supposed to do. And that all comes down to you having bad psychology. But if you have good reinforced psychology, what you have to do kind of comes to the front of your mind, and you're just going to follow your shit to the T. Cool. And it's all kind of down to fear, greed, impatience. This ruins people, and it ruins traders. Not even in trading, bro. Think about it in real life, in the world, bro. It's ruined us. And then if you get into trading with these factors not being built, the market's going to read your character, and it's going to throw you in the dump. It's going to make you lose money consistently. The market's going to grab your money and take it and keep it for itself, leaving you broke, bro. And it's sad because there's a lot of potential in this shit. There's a lot of traders that have potential, but they're just ruining it for themselves. They're only thinking about the money. They're not thinking about themselves, which is so sad, bro. But I said in the past, I've been training for about 2 years. And obviously within that time, I heavily prioritized my psychology. But obviously I made a lot of bad mistakes in the past. I used to demo trade, and when I was demo trading, I used to over risk. I used to enter trades I knew I wasn't supposed to enter. I used to gamble for the fun of it, just enter trades because I felt like it, bro. That shit's bad. But if I was doing that with fake money, virtual money, imagine if I had real money at that stage, bro. I wouldn't be here. I would be broke at the end of the day. And again, the market will expose your character instantly, bro. So if you're not reinforced in here, the market's gonna read that, decipher that, and then leave you in the dust, literally. But obviously, with the standard, I plan to reinforce your mindset so that you can actually make consistent money from this shit. And then when it does get to the strategy, you're not, being forced to do dumb shit by pressure. You are owning the moment, that decisive moment. You're making right decisions, not bad decisions. So cool. So obviously, I used to make bad decisions in the past, but I kind of noticed that. And then that moment where I was like, bro, what the fuck am I doing? Something needs to change. And from that moment, I just heavily prioritized my psychology, bro. I would read books. I watched endless amount of videos. I've got about 5 books in my drawer about psychology, all read. What else did I do? And obviously learning from my mistakes. But this has kind of built me to be who I am right now. And obviously I'm trying to put that onto you guys as well. Kind of what strong psychology looks like at the end of the day. You're going to have patience. You're going to have patience waiting for A+ setups. Being on the charts for long periods of time. And not doing silly stuff while waiting. You're just going to wait. That's all you have to do. It's simple, but easier said than done. You're going to have confidence. You're going to follow your strategy to the T. You're not going to hesitate, second guess. Losing streaks, they're not going to phase you. Losses, because you're not fixated on the outcome. You're going to make money in the long run, but a losing streak is not going to phase you and then lead you to do dumb shit, which is going to affect your long-term outcome. That's what strong psychology looks like, and what I aim to put onto you guys at the end of this. And that leads to detachment. You're going to be able to think in probabilities from this shit. Think that I don't care whether the next trade loses or wins. I don't care. As long as I followed my rules, I've done what I needed to do to put myself in that sample of wins and losses, which the wins win in a long period of time. As long as I've done that, followed my rules, it's okay. Trade loses, trade wins, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, a win is the same thing as a loss. A loss is the same thing as a win. But we as humans just experience that shit, different emotionally. And then that ties to emotional control. We're going to control our emotions and kind of review them as well. We're going to notice when we're doing patterns which are bad for us and then fix on that. That's what strong psychology looks like, bro. And what I hope to kind of put onto you guys at the end of this. But I don't know why most people ignore this shit, man. It's so important. It's so important. And it's so sad, man, because it ruins a lot of people. Trading can either make or break you. And if you have shit mindset, if you have bad psychology, it's going to break you, turn you broke. You're going to lose money. There's people that have blown tons of accounts, lost thousands of pounds, dollars, whatever. And it's caused them to do bad shit. And it's sad, man, because if you really focus on what's here, instead of just focusing on the outcome, the money, the strategy, you can really, make something from this shit. You can take money from the market instead of it taking money from you. And then another thing, signals. If you're in a signal group thinking about doing signals, don't, bro. Signals, you're being spoon-fed from someone else's mindset. Someone else is doing the work. It's not you. It's not your mind being tested. It's not you being put under that pressure. It's someone else, and then they're spoon feeding that to you like a little baby. So if you're thinking about doing signals or sitting in the group, leave that group by the end of this video, bro. In fact, you're not even allowed to continue these videos if you're still in a signal group. It's not you. If you genuinely wanted to become a consistent, profitable trader, you can't be spoon-fed this shit. You have to do it for yourself. And then quick flips. People think they can flip money quickly. Trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. At the end of the day, all that's going to lead to is over-risking, over-leveraging, and you're going to lose money, bro, thinking about money. It's a fucking, what's this term? Double-edged sword, I think. I don't know, but if you think about the money, it's ironic because you're going to lose the money. You have to detach, bro. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that throughout this whole standard. And we're going to build you. I'm going to build you. And then, obviously, if you don't prioritize psychology, it's going to break you. And there's a thing called funded accounts. People, have blown 20 funded accounts. I don't know how that's possible, bro. They've lost money, man. And all they're doing is just making these companies, these prop firms, aka the people supplying the funded accounts, they're making them money. For what? All because you didn't work on, something in here. All because you didn't work on yourself. Because you was focused on the money. And kind of the thing that I love about trading, right, is that once you master all this shit, it can be applied to your real life, bro. So if you're patient, waiting for your setups, you're going to be patient in real life. You're going to be patient when it comes to, not rushing things, just waiting. When it comes to emotional control, you're going to be benefited when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to delayed gratification, when it comes to gym, businesses, health. They're going to be enriching. So what you're learning from trading is directly applicable to anything in life, bro. That's what I love about it, and that's why it's so important. I think 80% is an understatement, bro. I think it's more. It's so important, man. In trading, all you can do is buy and sell. And all you can do is one click of a button to ruin your life, bro. It's fucked. And then all it is in trading is up and down candles, but there's people blowing their screen. There's people getting emotional from up and down candles. Up, down. But it's causing you to lose your mind. It doesn't make sense. Focus on your mind, bro, because this shit should not be happening. And once you watch all the psychological videos by the end of the standard, you're just going to be so reinforced. So when it does get to the strategy, you're going to have a mindset where you're not making, bad mistakes. You're not doing shit you're not supposed to do. And that's the whole aim of this shit. Putting my mindset into a series so you can benefit from this shit. And yeah. So the main purpose of this video was just to warn you that, your emotions, your psychology is not something to brush past. I'm going to give you a load of sources, not even in these, other than these videos, I'm going to give you a load of sources which have helped me as well. And a lot of source, man. But if you stick with it, bro, this shit, you're going to, not even in trading, bro, in your life, I'm telling you, this shit is so applicable to anything. And it's helped me so much. I wanted to help you, man. But this shit is not a joke, man. There's people that have genuinely lost everything in trading. As I said, it can either make or break you. The people that have been broken by this shit, they've done bad shit to themselves because of it. And it's not a game, man. It can ruin you. And it takes your time away, man. If you're putting time into this shit, if you're serious about this shit, you might as well work on what's in here, man. Don't brush past it. Don't be the people that think it's, a get rich quick scheme that just think about the money. Work on yourself, bro, because at the end of the day, when you work on yourself, it's gonna be shown in your trading, and your trading is gonna work for you. It's the best way I can say it, bro. So psychology always before strategy, no matter what. Without psychology, no system works. If you get this wrong, bro, nothing else matters. So cool, I think that's everything I wanted to say. Next video we'll talk about market structure, which will be a trading video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.